Hey yo, it's Sapphire here, and today I want to address a bit of dumb drama going on Twitter with the user ImKatt. Who is ImKatt, you may ask? Well, she's a people of color advocate on Twitter and within the Royal High community. And as of late, she's been harassed by people on Twitter who claim she's doxing and many other things. Recently, an artist who's drawn art for her has also been dragged into the mess due to a slander video that was made on ImKatt. The artist is MushiW on Twitter. The ringleader of the hate train is known as PNDrex here on YouTube and on Twitter. They made a video about Kat, and one of his followers made an exposed document on her, both of which have been debunked and flopped out by fans and others who read the document and watched the video. They have used said document to make the video, but many have disproven their many claims of racism, doxing, misinformation, and blatant lies, defending horrible acts and racism. So let's tear this to shreds, shall we? First off, we have the racism claim, which honestly sounds like a personal bias upon reading the document, and twisted out of context God, my English. Prove this. In Cat server, which I am a part of, we were asked what our views on the cat situation is, and someone brought up the racism claims, and we as a server settled down and calmly explained that all races feel the effects of racism. Just some more racist than others. And in less than 5 minutes of that conversation, an out-of-context screenshot was sent to PNDrex and his goons for them to further harass Kat and her followers in the server. Which means, like, several of them joined and then started a big argument. Now let's start dissecting the document, which first off starts off by saying, ImKatt, literally a drama queen. She's controversial within the royal Roblox Twitter community, as she has been involved in countless dramas. Today we'll call her ImKatt once and for all. She must be stopped for her wrongdoings, which to me again sounds like a personal bias. The document then goes on to say, before the drama started, there's a movement called #SilenceIsViolence, which is about racism that ImKatt started. This movement back in January, and a lot of people supported her cause. She even grew more followers. There was no controversies back then. But what if I told you that a drama suddenly started? This, of course, is true, minus the last part, of course. Like I mentioned, Kat is a people of color advocate. Continue on, we get into the document's first point. Chapter 1, Unnecessary Cancellation and Dox Threats. This contains proof against ImKatt, saying that she wanted to dox Ruben Sim and Scrimox, aka Nagista, and threatened to send pizzas and animal poop to their houses, and the people that didn't support her. In the same Twitter space, her supporters said they were trying to IP log Ruben Sim and Scrimox. This has been cleared up to be proven that it wasn't Kat who made the joke. It was someone else who did, and they admitted themselves that it was a joke done with bad timing and taste. The final part of Chapter 1 states the following. ImKatt has also tried to cancel Royal High for canceling a Black History Month update. I don't even have to explain why that's stupid. Kat and other people's anger towards Royal High was justifiable, as February is the one month in the year where people and children learn about many black figureheads and communities, and many black people who help make many other things we use today. And to cancel it over for a different and less relevant update is what upset people the most. Stemming from this was the pointing out of many Royal High faults, such as the upside-down Prague flights at One World in Diamond Beach, the misclassification of the Day of the Dead items in game, the stereotypical names given to the many of people of color hairstyles, and last but not least, the names of the pride hair colors that disrespected the sexualities that they were supposed to portray, just to name a few. So to call it stupid that she got upset at this is stupid in its entirety. Moving on to Chapter 2, we have Chapter 2, Misinformation and Blatant Lies. Now this is where the mess gets bigger. The first line in this chapter is as follows. ImKatt has spread lies about numerous individuals, one of them being Dark Domain. She claimed he was a racist even though he's black, and ImKatt also said he was harassing her even though he was only criticizing her for her wrongdoings. As you can see in the tweet linked below, she called Dark Domain a coon for simply making a tweet about blocking him. This is blatantly false. The user, Dark Domain 0, has been one of the many people to harass Kat during this time, and not only Kat, but many others. By the group's own rules, they love to believing that being blocked is owning a person, when in reality, the person has gotten tired of you harassing them for stating what's right. You can't make racist comments against someone and expect not to get lash out and a call out post on your behavior. Yes, Kat called him a coon, but at the moment, she was slightly in the right to do so, seeing as they'd done nothing but call her names and equated to being like Kim Jong-un. Next, we have another example of Kat spreading misinformation about someone is when she called out Dustinus for being a racist pedophile and having a child porn on his computer, which is just blatant lies. Dustinus said he was black, but Kat wouldn't believe this and just called him racist anyways. Kat has also stated that Dustinus replying to cut lolicon posts and criticizing people posting them, and was just a way to get lolicon posts to his feed, which is simply untrue. If you have ever talked to Dustinus, you would know that he finds lolicon extremely disgusting. ImKatt has even sent her fans to mass report Dustinus, which forced him to private his Twitter account. ImKatt also made fun of Dustinus for privating his account. This is also untrue. Dustinus finds an interest in lolicon and other perverted things. He claims to be black when in fact he isn't. A person who wishes to remain anonymous, thank you, you are a blessing, came to us and stated that they and several others were harassed by Nick, who called them slurs. I spoke to Nick myself because he joined Kat's server and literally proved he was exactly as they say, racist and vile. Kat did the right thing by sending to people to report his account because according to Twitter's new terms of service, that stuff is reported on site. He then privated his account on Twitter in an attempt to hide his profile. And no, Kat did not make fun of him. All she replied to someone telling her that he privated his account was, scared, lol. And lastly, in chapter 2, we have, ImKatt also stated she's a people of color activist, but it doesn't seem to use her platform to post about people of color problems that don't relate to the black community. This is another lie because Kat does post about the problems of people of color. She's done it multiple occasions and has held many Twitter spaces to discuss said problems, and she also streams on Twitch to discuss this. It's time for chapter 3. Chapter 3 contains defending horrible acts and racism. This entire chapter gave me a headache to work through it, but we'll go through it together. Point 1 is ImKatt supports minors doing suggestive artwork, the artist being Iconic Leah. She claims that people are attacking her because she's a black woman, but in reality, that is just not true. ImKatt has a habit of bringing race into topics where it's not needed. The only reason why people attack Leah is because of her suggestive artwork, not because of her being black. This right here is a pile of mess. Iconic Leah is an amazing artist who does not make suggestive art. They have a particular art style which is just a bit more curvy and feminine. There's literally no issues with it. Not about the race issues that some people have gone after Leah because of her race and because she did art pieces for Kat. Kat stood up for her and told the people in return got told off the people and in return got backlash and claims that she brings race into everything. All Kat did was ask a simple question. Is it because you're a black woman? Double question mark. Or this wouldn't stop sexualizing your art. Next comes up, ImKatt also stated that racism against white people doesn't exist. It may not exist in the justice system, but it does exist. Like I mentioned above, as we as a server sat down and explained to them that we do believe that racism happens to everyone, just on different scales. The post in question has been deleted by the original tweet author, but all that's left is Kat's reply of facts. So to confirm or deny this will discredit this entire document and the reason of me doing this. Though I, in my personal opinion, believe that it was a small lapse of judgment on Kat's part. Let's say a white person is facing harassment due to their skin color, aka racism. Kat wouldn't do anything to help the white person, as she would literally be the type of person to join in on the harassment of a white person. Kat clearly only thinks about Black Lives Matter, and she doesn't think that other lives matter. She may seem all innocent on the outside, but in reality, she isn't. She's butthurt about people not supporting her deranged actions and thoughts. We are not saying that Black lives don't matter, but instead we're saying that Kat should focus more on than just BLM and her deranged thoughts. Kat needs to be confronted. Kat does not believe this. She believes, like I said, racism occurs in all races, but it happens more with people of color because it's more systematic than others. And to call her thoughts deranged while you're trying to make commentary is a personal bias and does not count in the commentary space. And by the way, you all clearly don't believe in all black Black Lives Matter, judging by your posts and interactions with others. Now we've hit chapter 4. Chapter 4, the drama sprees in March to early February. In February to early March. God damn it. This chapter is just wow, honestly. So let's begin. Part 1, the first dramas. As early as February 2nd, 2022, this was a huge drama within the Roblox Twitter community, basically calling out one fairy for making black hairstyles when they weren't black. Once again, I don't even have to explain how dumb this is. This led to one fairy deactivating the Twitter account and pretty much leaving the internet. This isn't even drama, it's a justified call-out. You cannot use someone else's cultural style, such as clothing, and in this case, hairstyles, so that you can make a profit off of it. One fairy sort of simply apologized for their actions, but no, instead they ran away from their problems and made Kat take the blame for it, when it was not only her who was disgusted by this person's actions. Following this, ImKatt made the Twitter space, which was following is this. ImKatt made the Twitter space, which was filled with the dox threads the same day, and I'm guessing the space was made because of the one fairy drama. Proof in chapter 1. This is the doxing allegations we spoke about earlier, which have been cleared up to be nothing more than jokes made in bad taste and timing. Part 2 of chapter 4 reads as follows. Part 2, dumb choices that led to ImKatt being exposed. Kat has made several dumb choices. So this is the choices she made to support racist people. She's essentially a neo, and she tends to support gatekeeping. Kat made the dumb choice to get her fans to attack anyone who disagrees with her, as seen in this doc. Kat only cares about black people. Kat also tries to hide the fact that many of this happened, but there is so much evidence on her that pretty much everyone knows what happened. I'm pretty sure everyone wants proof on these racist people they claim Kat is following, because I sure would. The second point I have is that the misuse of the term neo-Nazi, and as the term means, the term literally means neo-Nazism, refers to the post-World War II militant social and political movement seeking to revive and reinstate Nazi ideology. Second point of my point here is that Kat does not support gatekeeping. If she truly does, you and the original writers of the slander document the original writers of the slander document have proof, you should have brought it forward immediately and one time. Point 3, Kat does not care only about black people. She cares about everyone, and to say so, to paint her in a negative light, just makes you look bad in the end. Kat hasn't hidden the things. The ones hiding things are the ones coming after her, seeing as they crop screenshots to fit their narratives. God, I can't read sometimes. To the point they can't form a solid argument. Their only responses are ratio and W, and things of that nature. Now for part 3, the final part of chapter 4. Part 3, the Dahood situation. Back in late February to early March, it was a huge drama boycotting the Hood and calling it out for the gangster stereotype. ImKatt called the Hood racist for it, but the game has been fine until then. Kat probably doesn't know that any other race can be gangsters too. The gangster stereotypes doesn't just belong to the black community, it belongs to all race communities in general. Just like she normally does, she attacks people who aren't on her side. The gangster stereotype is mostly portrayed the way the Hood does it by people of color, which is why it got called out and deemed racist. Everyone knows that other races have gangsters. For example, the Mexican mafia or the Italian mafia. Or better yet, the Japanese Yakuza. And that was Kat's point. The Hood representation of gangsters used the people of color stereotypes. She never attacked anyone for dissing or agreeing with her either. And lastly, time for the conclusion of the document. In this doc, we learned that ImKatt is a manipulated bitch that doesn't deserve a platform to spew her dumb beliefs onto kids. ImKatt has had so many opportunities to redeem, but just doesn't want to. It's very clear that ImKatt won't change anytime soon. This isn't even a conclusion. This is a formulation of a horrible opinion. Manipulative bitch shouldn't even be used here at all. You want to see her spreading awareness? But you really aren't. Instead, you're going after someone who you personally don't like. She believes in the need for people of color and others to be treated fairly, but I guess she doesn't deserve a platform to spew her dumb beliefs onto kids. Oh, so people should know about the struggles of people of colors and others then. Kat has done nothing wrong, but yet you come for her in a mob. Sure, she's made mistakes, but she's human and we all make mistakes. And the mistakes she did make, she already owned up to them and changed, as you could tell if you were actually looking. Now to dissect the video. The video was a basic copy and paste into a text-to-speech program with the usual Arsenal gameplay in the background. Again, this was made by the YouTuber Pandrix. Now the majority of the issues with the video stem from Pandrix using Mushi's artwork, which is currently Katt's profile picture across platform, with the permission from Mushi himself in his video. Upon seeing it, Mushi went to Pandrix and asked him to politely remove his artwork from the video, as he did not want to be associated with a defamatory video. And what did Mushi get for acting so nicely? He got his DM to Pandrix, screenshot it, and shown it to the lackeys of Pandrix, and in turn they all started to bug Mushi about his art. One even asked him if he paid to copyright his art. In a conversation about this, Mushi thought about copyright claim in the video, since his polite request was so rudely tossed aside, but in the end, he dropped it. Pandrix and his followers have claimed that it was in fair use territory, since he transformed the art piece by putting a filter on it and adding a text across the image. And in doing so, he made Mushi's watermark basically vanish because it's unable to be seen. Your claim of fair use was dropped like a vase the moment you denied the original artist's request for you to remove it from your video, and then went on to harass them because they were they thought about taking actions against you and your group for the misuse of their work. So in conclusion, has Katt made mistakes? Of course, she's human after all. Has she grown from her mistakes? Yes, she has, and she's done it well. Is she racist? No, she isn't. Is she a doxer? Again, no, she isn't. Is she a liar? No, she isn't. Is she a manipulator? No. ImKatt is none of the things people claim she is. She's an amazing person who's standing up for what is right and doing it how she can. Update. Jesus. Pandrix has made another video on the situation, and dear God, it's just as bad as the first. It's just him stroking his ego and calling us, the fans, and Katt herself stupid on repeat. This is the dumbest response I've seen in a long time. It's just another attempt of slander and clap Katt and her fan base for being in the right. He tried so hard to twist the narrative for him and his friends. Good God, it's a fucking shit show over here.